Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rob Satch from Feedbackwrench. I want to talk about 10 steps that you can take to actually start your business. It's kind of funny. I get all sorts of people on my website here at feedbackwrench.com, and they join our newsletter, and I had a little drop down that said, what are you most interested in? And everybody's wondering about how to start a business. Now, the reason why I think this is so important is because right now we're finding that college education often isn't worth it. We're finding that there's all sorts of ways that you can earn a ton of money without going to higher education. Now, I think that college has its place. I think you need to learn how to do hard work and produce results, but ultimately what matters is that you can do hard things and that you can progress. And I'm telling you, a business, whether it be something that you work from home, whether you're a bookkeeper, an accountant, or maybe you're trying to be somebody in the trades, maybe you're going to get into tree removal, you're going to do seal coating, you could do plumbing, electrician, maybe you go to trade school and learn how to do something, go become a heavy machinery operator, and you can do all sorts of excavating, dig ponds. It doesn't matter what you do. Go find how to actually do some hard work. Solve a hard problem and get in position to do it. But I'm going to give you 10 steps to actually get unstuck and to do this. And I'm telling you, folks, I've started 2 businesses. I've had great success with it, but I've been able to mentor, coach, and serve hundreds of businesses, both at Nuance Financial Tax and Accounting and here at Feedbackwrench. Now, if you want help implementing any of this, particularly the websites, SEO, and to use paid search advertising to just command market share, give us a call. Head to our website, go to feedbackwrench.com. We'd love the opportunity to serve you, but I'm going to jump right in. The first thing that you should do if you're thinking about starting your own business is you need to just make a business name. It sounds so corny, but keep it simple, keep it short, and work a little bit on what you would call it. Make it direct. Don't be clever. There's so many bad business names out there, but jump into Google and start searching some ideas. You always think about what's possible, what's probable, and then you make a short list, right? So don't just go out and barf on a Google Doc or on a Word document of all the different ideas of your business idea. Now, maybe pick a sector, and I really think right now, even if you don't know how to do this right now, you can go get training in the trades. You can be a writer, you can do digital marketing, you can be a bookkeeper, you can do tax planning. There's so many opportunities out there. Don't think that you need to go get a degree in any of these. Now, in accounting, there's probably some value to having an accounting degree, but you don't necessarily need to do that. The bottom line is you should think of the sector and develop a business name. That's such a simple first step. So that's the first thing that I would do. The second thing after you develop your name is go into Google Domains. Don't go to GoDaddy, don't go to 1&1, don't go to all of these other companies. Just go to domains.google.com and pick a domain name. It's $12 a year, but try and find a way that you can actually get a domain. Work hard to find out if you can get a short, nice, succinct business domain that will be where your website's going to be housed, because websites mean a ton in 2020 and later. People often think that you can do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all of these other places, but I'm telling you, your website is the core hub of everything that you're going to do, and you have to have a great domain. So work on getting a concise, short domain name. Go in there and try and find some like-minded ones. But one of the things you want to do when you're looking at a business name and a domain is jump into Google, jump into Bing. It sounds weird, but Bing actually matters in Windows, and try and find out, is there somebody that's just like your business name? Is there somebody that ultimately is going to look like you? You don't want to look similar to any big dog players when it comes to your domain or your business name. So go through and just kind of search, if it's going to be Rob's tree grinding service or stump removal service, or maybe you're going to do a bookkeeping, accounting, or CPA. You got to do some homework to find out, wait a minute, is there any giant dog player out there? Now, I had created Nuance Financial Tax and Accounting, and I had thought of that name a long time ago back because there was this Nuance software. When I worked at Best Buy, it was Dragon Speak. And I didn't really think it through when we became Nuance Financial that Nuance, that dictation software, actually had a financial piece of software. And there was a lot of confusion in the beginning about our business name because there's just a big dog player in that space. So go find a domain name, get your business name, but be careful about whether or not there's some other competitors for that name. But buy a domain name and then use G Suite to get an email. Rob at feedbackwrench.com is ours. We'd love to help you if you need any marketing, but That's one of the first two steps, is just take those little steps, buy those domains. I'm a serial domain buyer. I've learned not to do it because execution is key, and that's going to be the next step here. But the first two, get a business name, get your domain name. Now, the third step, as soon as you get your business name and your domain name and your little email set up with G Suite, is go on to Google My Business and set up your Google My Business profile. Even if you haven't done any work, this is such an important first step. Now, you don't have to be have an actual office. You can do what's called a location area or a service area. And if you do those service areas, you're going to be able to get local traffic to your business. But I'm telling you, this is an incredible first step. And there's two parts to this. I would do Google My Business. Make sure that you fill it out with your business name. Don't play games with it with your business name. Just put your official business name on there. And that's going to help you a ton. Once you get your business name set up on Google My Business, go over to Bing Places, and you can actually port all the information that you put on Google My Business into Bing, Microsoft Bing, because Microsoft is kind of the... You have to pay attention to Microsoft, because Microsoft is the default search tool that Windows machines are going to use. And when you get that set up, you're going to find that you start building a little bit of momentum on Windows machines, which maybe are a less sophisticated user, but ultimately you're going to get some great results there. So go to google.com/business and set up your Google My Business. Now, the next step, it's going to get really interesting. You got to make sure that you set up your actual services and pricing. Sit down and try and decide exactly what you're going to do and how much it ought to cost. Do some homework, call some competitors, get an idea of what the market around you actually charges, and don't be afraid of understanding that when you first get started out, and we'll touch on this, you're going to have to build credibility. You're going to have to build some repetitions underneath your belt. And the best way to do that is to just start small, but you got to get an idea of what are the 3 or 4 services that you're actually going to do. Jump into Google, look at some competitors, and find out what are the 4 services and create a service menu. The title of the service, find out what that is. Develop the scope. What will you do? What won't you do? How much should it cost? What's the price range? Small, medium, large, or high to low, and right in the middle. Develop that pricing structure and write it down. You want to do this just like a piece of homework. Put effort into this, spend time, dwell on it, muddle in it. Just chew on these ideas so that you can develop a real core service structure. And do your homework, get some perspective. One of the things that people don't do enough of is to go and ask a mentor. Go have some meetings with some businesses that are kind of like yours, or go and approach other businesses or customers that might be future customers and say, hey, I got a question for you. If you were to choose a solution like what I'm looking to build, what are some things that you would be looking for? What would be the distinctives that you'd want to choose? What would make it a great service? What would make it a bad service? What would cause regrets once you're doing it, or once you've chosen it or purchased that? And get some perspective. Write those down. Try and do a SWOT analysis before it even starts. Get perspective from prospective customers, get perspective from competitors, and dive right in and try and find out what your service offering should look like, and then put some pricing to it. Get that on paper, and you're going to be developing your name, your purpose, your mission, your values, your services, your scope of work for those services, your distinctives, your value proposition. Write all those down. Make a little book report about it. And once you do that, we're going to move on to the next thing. We're going to put it on a website. Now, if I were you, I would take those services, take all that information, put it on your Google My Business, and then I would set up an amazing website. But at first, you're just going to have basically a virtual business card. You can even use the Google My Business site builder if you want to. You could do a basic Squarespace site, but just get a basic piece of web real estate, because that's going to be where people go to find you. And it also declares to Google, Bing, Yahoo, Siri, Alexa, all these other places, and says, here's our piece of real estate. You're hanging out your digital shingle, and it's so important. So I would translate that into a website. Now, if you're first getting started, we do basic websites. Usually we can help a basic website get set up, help them do some basic work for between $500 and $1,500 for baby websites. Essentially, you're hiring us to do your homework for you, and we can develop really good, simple websites. Most of our websites, though, we build to rank on Google, to dominate the market share in your region, and to run great SEO and paid search advertising. So we're generally working with more advanced companies, but I love helping small businesses. So you could definitely give us a call. Go to my website. We can schedule a call to talk about that. But you want to make a website. You should have your home, home, your about, your contact page. Ultimately, you want to have like a services system and structure or ontology inside of that website because it communicates to the search engines what you're in the business of doing. So make sure that you do that. Set up that website because it's definitely it's more important than having an actual office right now. So when you're first getting started, I would do that. Now, for in-person businesses, whether you're a restaurant or some sort of retail or office location, there's a whole other set of things, but I'm talking about just the basics. Get your website set up. And then that leads me to the next thing, particularly if you're a bookkeeper, an accountant, or a professional service, or even if you're doing trades businesses, just get started. Go prospect and get sales and build credibility. That's probably the most important thing, is to fail forward by trying and doing. And if you're not comfortable, if you don't feel like you can actually ask to charge people for something, find somebody who has the problem that you solve, propose to them the idea that you would do it for them, and get some reps under your belt. It's almost like when you're practicing, right? Just think about when I played football. You go out and you practice a lot. You do scrimmages. Once you do scrimmages, you do some scrimmages against other teams. And eventually you prove to the coaches, you prove to the fans and everybody that you're worth it. And then you get some game time. The same thing is true when it comes to your small business or your local business, whatever it is. Go out and get some reps. You can go to BNI meetings and meet other business owners. You can go to chamber events and you can do some stuff there. Prospect though. If you just call and meet and knock on doors and call other businesses, call other people, and you could even run some Facebook ads. There's no reason why small businesses can't come out and just hammer with Google search ads and Facebook advertising. Primarily Google search ads and Bing search ads are the best because that's when people are at just the right time looking for a solution, whereas Facebook, you're sitting there mindlessly scrolling. Last night, I think I had like probably close to 100 Facebook ads up in my face, and I'm just sitting there chilling, and I'm not in the mood to solve any problem late at night. And I just think social media is really a mistake to pour too much money in. Paid search is such a better idea. But here's the deal. You got to get some reps. You got to build some credibility. And once you do that, you'll build your confidence. And as your confidence increases, you're going to close more sale and you'll have proof of what you do. Now, here's the next step. As you're doing that, you want to make sure that you're getting Google and Facebook reviews. Now, Facebook is important because it gets used in Bing and in Microsoft for their Bing places. It's also important because Facebook is becoming a little bit more relevant in the inbound market. Remember, there's kind of two types of marketing: disruptive marketing, where you're going to show Facebook ads, YouTube bumper ads, Instagram ads, and all of that. But then you have true inbound, where people search and they either find your content that you built on your blog or on your website, or they find a Google or Bing paid search ad that you actually paid to get. Now, the bottom line here is that if you get some reps, you build up your review platform, you're going to win more clicks, you're going to win more business because it shows you're worthy of trust, right? Now, alongside of that, you want to make sure that you're uploading photos to Bing Places, Google My Business, and onto your website, and showing the work that you've done. Show your customer testimonials. Take a pic of what you're doing and show evidence that you are actually getting results. If you can get some quotes from some customers, that'd be really good. The bottom line is show proof that you're credible, that you're worthy of trust, but just get some reps under your belt. That's probably the most important thing you can do. Now, the last two things are really where our company comes into play, or you can do it yourself too. But you can command market share by using paid search advertising. I hit on that a little bit. Head to our website. You can learn more about it. But the idea is you can define an area and find out exactly how many searches are happening for your core commercial keywords, and you can bid to get those leads. Just ask yourself, how much would you pay for a new customer? And take whatever that amount is, and then you can bid in Bing and Google search and actually get those clients. Now, the last thing you should do is create digital marketing content, or SEO content. That it's basically called content marketing. Think of all the different questions that people are going to ask about your service, about the products that you sell, or whatever that is, and you should create landing pages that solve those queries. That's content marketing, and really you're trying to make inbound search engine optimized content on your website. And what you'll find is all of a sudden you start to rank for a whole new set of keywords. If you open up the Google Webmaster and Bing Webmaster tools and submit your site, and then you start creating additional content, answering all the array of questions that are relevant to to your industry or your sector or your region, all of a sudden on your website, you'll start to see that you rank for more keywords, and in Google My Business and Bing Places, you'll start triggering all sorts of additional keywords that you can rank for. So that's my bottom line when it comes to starting your own business. Make a plan, build your business development plan, start writing it down like a book report, take that book report, put it on the internet, and then just get some reps under your belt, build credibility, show that you're worthy of trust, then command market share with paid advertising and start to build out your SEO. That'll get you started. Hey, like and subscribe if this is helpful. God bless, good luck. Head to feedbackwrench.com if you've got any questions, but otherwise, let us know what kind of information that you're looking for when it comes to starting a business. And just appreciate your time here, folks. Good luck.